Ambazonia. Yes, Ambazonia. My motherland. My only land of freedom and peace. A land so accommodating. A land blessed with natural resources. My roots, my nation. Till the world hears our cry and intervene, we will speak till our nation becomes a reality. Long live all the Ambazonians. Long live our fallen heroes who gave up their lives to save the future generation of Amazonia. Long live Amazonia. Our hopes are alive. Peace.
We are not giving up. We are not giving up. Amazonians, we are not giving up. We need freedom. We are not giving up. Amazonians, we are not giving up.
A statement by the Education Secretary of the Agovc on school resumption. Dear Ambazonians, my message is titled Much Ado About Nothing. You must have heard so many voices talking about school resumption in Ambazonia. You probably would like to hear from what your education board is saying about it. As per last year, we told you after a lot of consultations that schools were going to be officially reopened in Ambazonia community schools on the 1st of January each year. This year we launched the first Ambazonia academic year on January, and schools in liberated zones went operational. And we are by that calling on all Ambazonians across the globe to respect the Ambazonian calendar of education. Ambazonia is free, Ambazonia is independent, and Ambazonia must take its destiny into its hands and shape all aspects of its life according to their traditions, customs, values, principles, and universal tenets that ally with education and all aspects of life. Ambazonia is not an island. We have said the world cannot be going at a supersonic speed, and we are acting like cavemen in the dark, dancing around and shouting about school reopening dates and gesticulating like people who know what they are talking about when they know nothing. My dear compatriots, school resumption is not just an announcement. It is not just a posture. School resumption is an item on a calendar of activities of a school year based on a system of education that has a curriculum and a way of doing things unique to that educational system. And when all these things have been put in place my dear compatriots, that is when you can come out and tell the people, we are reopening on this date based on these parameters that have been put in place to run for an academic year, and the beginning date should immediately precede the ending date. Ask those talking, those weaver birds just making noise, what they have prepared for you as a package for education. Ask them what they have done vis-a-vis the complaints that parents, students, teachers, or better still, the consortium put forward at the start of this revolution. What has changed? To the best of my knowledge, nothing has changed. So we cannot go back to our vomit and start talking like people who have just left a boat house. They are so drunk that they don't know their left from the right. The Ambazonian Education Board has been working and has done quite a lot of work with all those who are interested in the transformation and the change that we want in Ambazonia, to come up with a clean and effective and useful educational system and a curriculum of education for our children. In 5 volumes, my dear compatriots, this is written out in 5 volumes of thoroughly researched work drawn from renowned educational systems around the world and anchored on our reality, because we have said that the tree goes out in conquest of the sun by holding firm to its roots. The roots here refers to our Ambazonianness. Who are we as a people? What do we want in the Committee of States? In the universe? How do we present ourselves in the universe? Who do we want the world to understand us to be? What do we want to give to the international community? We can't be a sea of consumers. We can't be a crop of people who depend on what others say, what others do, what others think. We must be products of our own thinking and consumers of our own products and sellers of our own services and our own goods and thoughts. All men are born equal with inalienable rights, among which are the right to life, the right to liberty, and the right to prosperity. No one under the sun has a right to deprive Ambazonia of this right. Not to talk about the stooges that others have put in place to sit on you and kill you with pleasure and impunity and make you a lunatic, make you traumatized, make you live in fear to the extent that when you pronounce the name, your own name, the name of your own nation, Ambazonia, you feel ashamed, you feel frightened, you are scared. You are scared. You are scared to the extent that you must listen to them, even if they want you to remain in obscurity, in mediocrity, and in poor performance for the rest of your life. You fear to die, yet every day all of us are dying. All of us are dying.
As I'm speaking, some Ambazonian somewhere is dying. He is languishing in jail. He is suffering in a refugee camp with no food to eat. Some are being tortured in Kondingi and insane by people who are supposed to have had an education, by people who pretend to be civilized human beings, monsters of the highest order, beasts of burden. I tell you most solemnly, my dear kingsmen, this must come to an end. If the highest court in the world on human rights issues can decide that Siseko Ayub Tabe and his peers should be released unconditionally from the dungeons of La République, and up till today, nothing has happened, it means that they are above the law and that nobody in the world can talk to them, and that nobody means anything to them, and that everything they want, they can do it. They can take life away from you the way they like, and they can make you live a life below your standard, and all will be well, and the whole world will be silent because the world can do nothing to them. If the world cannot do anything to them, Ambazonians who stood up on the 1st of October in 2017 have said they will do something about this. What has numbed the world? What has hypnotized the world? What has made the world blind to this persecution, this genocide, will not blind Ambazonians of goodwill with a good nationalistic spirit. It will not. We will fight till the last man standing. And the last man standing will hand over to the spirits, and they will fight and destroy these fellows. No one in the world, no one, however mighty he may be, has the right to take away human life and has the right to shape the thinking of a people in the worst way possible, with an education system that is archaic, repugnant to common sense, and produce no goods and services that the people use. My dear compatriots, we have said that Ambazonia must have an education system that produces results. We are not going to have a system that continuously produces candidates with good grades, good certificates, who cannot know how to cook their own food, mend their own clothes, fix their own wristwatches, cure themselves, or produce medication to cure other people. And that we cannot continuously be producers of raw materials that we don't know the value of. Because in reality, my dear compatriots, when somebody like you and me, we produce coffee, what can we do with it if we don't go and auction it in the world market for those who will buy at whatever price they want to buy? If they don't buy at the price that they want to buy, what do you do with the coffee? Because lunatics have sat there and have been paid to sit there and give an educational system that cannot make you process your own coffee to a final product that you can use or sell to other people at a higher value. They have made it impossible for you to process your rubber, the rubber you produce. So at the end of the day, when CDC stockpiles rubber, the rubber is useless. It is not helpful to you because you don't know the value of rubber. You don't know the value of rubber. You don't know what use you can put it to. Consequently, you need to be able to do something draconian to get out of this cone. Fear will not help you. Submission to evil will not help you. Loyalty to a system that destroys you will not help you. It did not help the children in Gabu. It did not help the children in Bali. Neither did it help the ones in Santa from being massacred. for no harm done. Neither is it helping those in the dialysis centers and in the hospitals and the sick beds in the villages who cannot have medical attention. Neither can it help those who on the highway die because of accidents due to bad roads. My dear compatriots, what are we talking about? If you submit to evil, evil will destroy you and will destroy the generations after you and will make you live a substandard life. Ambazonians have said no. They deserve the best. And they will have it at all cost. And they will have it now. If the others on the other side of the Mongol want the evil to continue, because they actually participated in building a monster that is destroying them, because they killed the pro-independence freedom fighters and in its place planted stooges in a colonial arrangement that made neo-colonialism a way of life and subjected them to the rule of aliens who have no interest in who you are and what you become. To them, everybody is just like the eucalyptus or the Iroko trees or the gold and the oil wells that they exploit. And so they can deal with you like they deal with any other commodity that they find in the marketplace. And if they don't want, they can weed you out. They can kill you if they want. And you mean nothing to them. Ambazonians said, no, we mean something to ourselves. And because we mean something to ourselves, we will have the kind of education that we want so that our children will become the people that we want them to be. And we will not be bribed. We will not be bribed by a system that employs people to destroy us. We will not be bribed by a system that creates institutions aimed at destroying our destiny. We will not be bribed by people who work for others to destroy us. We will not be bribed. We will not be silenced. We will get what we want. And what we want begins with the kind of education that we want. And how best it is delivered will be determined by us, not by any other person. And so this cankerworm, this confusion, these weaver birds that are shouting all over the place and making you feel cheated or feel really, really, really bad should not worry you. What should worry you is, are there patriots who are thinking about the best for you and are working hard enough so that you can attain this? If the answer is yes, then you need to be proud. You need to be happy. Let no one deceive you that the educational system that they have put in place will help you. Some of them come and say, if you did not go through an education, then what language would you have been using? What intelligence? The intelligence you have is due to the educational system in place. This and that. You are now somebody because of the educational system in place. It is a lie. How do you calculate failure? Let me tell you, my compatriots, you calculate failure not in terms of one Dangote that emerges from Africa. You calculate failure not from one Bill Gates that emerges from the world, or Elon Musk, or Mark Zuckerberg. That is not the way you calculate failure. You calculate failure based on the millions of people that are suffering as a result of a system that is put in place. That is the way you do it. If we churn out 15,000 students from University of Bamenda and University of Boya, and at the end of the day, only 10 of them are duly recruited to work in either the private sector or in the government sector, then what happens to the rest of the population that is not favored? by this system that has been put in place to ruin our population. If we graduate 1 million children from primary school with the first school leaving, oh, every school is coming out, we have had 100%, we have had 100%. And you know, as well as I do, that in most of these primary schools, they cheat during the exams. In most of the GCA exams, they cheat during the exams. In most of the advanced level, they cheat. In most of the degree exams, they cheat. They exchange marks for money and sex. And all kinds of things are happening in the system. And the teachers are not teaching. They are there all on in political rallies all over the place, lobbying for this, lobbying for that. They are on very poor wages, on very poor salaries. They are on very poor allowances. They are always on the begging side, writing letters, moving to Yaoundé, running up and down, trying to lobby, trying to please monsters, mediocre fellows who do not know their left from their right in order to earn a loaf of bread for their families. And so this saps away a lot of their energy and make them poor performance and make them unable to produce the type of graduates that can change and transform a society, the thinkers that can shape the society, the producers that can add value to the minerals and the farm produce that we have. Yes, this is the kind of context in which we are operating. And you tell me about getting vexed about people announcing reopening dates. Those fellows announcing reopening dates without a corresponding comprehensive package on how schools will run in Ambazonia and how the opposing faction that they are promoting responds to injustice, responds to devaluation of the human being, responds to mediocrity, responds to fraud, corruption, indiscipline, and poor infrastructural development. My dear people, watch carefully. Don't be fooled. A fool at 40 is a fool forever. So at 63 years of penury, at 63 years of suffering under occupation, subjugation, genocide, you should know better. Let your pain, your suffering, your persecution, the genocide visited upon you, the trauma you have been through, worry you into becoming a fool forever. You will not be, because some of us exist and we have gone through the mill and we know where the shoe pinches. Therefore, we will pick out the nails, and we must. And you should support us to do it. On Monday, the Ambazonia Education Board, in collaboration with the executive of the Agovc, via its PS, will be giving you a state-of-the-art appreciation of the educational system put in place by Ambazonia vis-a-vis the archaic educational system that we rejected in 2017. Nothing has changed, my dear compatriots. And something will change if we implement the educational system and the curriculum that has been put at your disposal. We are inviting all Ambazonians to come out massively and listen to this debate, this discussion, get informed, or you will remain deformed and you will remain a slave forever. You will remain a fool forever. You will live in fear, perpetual fear, harassment, persecution. It is a shame that a few brutes will have the intelligence and the weaponry to suppress 8 million Amazonians without one person standing up to say no, enough is enough. Amongst those who have the microphone They have the microphone to mislead you. You will not be misled so long as we live. So come out massively on Monday and listen to the debate and participate, because there will be room for you to ask questions and receive appropriate answers. This is our Ambazonia, and we will build it to the best of our ability and make Ambazonia great again. Our children must not be running away and pretending that everything is okay. People run away from fire because it is hot and it can destroy them. So you cannot be running away from fire and telling those you are running to that the fire is not as hot as it is. You cannot be running away from evil and telling others that the evil is not evil. Then why did you run away in the first place? We must define this evil, and we must look for instruments that we will put in place to dismantle this evil and make sure that our people get the kind of education that makes them critical thinkers, that makes them producers of the best goods and services that they need. We can't have a people who teach their children to produce nothing and consume everything imported. We can't have our people misled. We can't have you suffer like that. We will not. We will not allow it. And the right time is now. Don't yield to their deceit, their propaganda, their machinations, their plots, their bribery and corruption. It has worked for some time, but it will not work for all the time. We will dismantle evil block by block, rooftop by rooftop, and from one individual to another, until we get the kind of country that we want to have. And we are not bargaining this with anybody. He who wears the shoes knows where it pinches. We are Ambazonians. We will have the kind of education that we want. And it begins with you thinking straight, doing the right, and achieving the best results. In collaboration with your neighbors, in collaboration with your community. That is why we came up with the notion of community schools, where a community can sit down and say, well, with these resources, this is the kind of education that we can offer based on the different packages that we have put to you in the Ambazonia curriculum of education. You choose, you take up, whether you're going virtual through online studies, or you are coming to do home studies. You recruit your teachers, you recruit get the right gadgets and have your children trained at home in what we call homeschooling, or you assemble as a community and set up a small community center or school, and then you assemble your resources, because we believe that many hands do light work. And then you put your resources together and get a good educational system that trains our people to be producers, trains our people to be critical thinkers, trains our people to be innovators, trains our people to be effective in even emotional intelligence, mental intelligence, physical well-being, and the best that we can have and project to the whole world. When we look at our background, when you look at yourself, you feel pity. Everybody is dumping finished goods on Ambazonia. Those who cannot buy finished goods, brand new, they bring second-hand goods and dump. And so you find Ambazonians wearing second-hand pants second-hand, bras second-hand, shirts second-hand, skirts second-hand, everything, shoes second-hand, say eyeglasses second-hand, everything you wear is second-hand. And then when drugs are about to expire, they carry the drugs and then they come and dump in your country, and then within 3 months they have lost value, the drugs are expired, and then the money we spent in importing the drugs is gone into the dustbin, and then we force expired drugs to our population, and then sometimes we even dump them, and then we lose money. So many dirty things are happening, and we can't continue to live like this. We can't train our children to be receivers of other people's products of school systems that work, and we're operating a school system that does not work, that defeats the purpose for which school systems are established. It's not going to work. So, my dear compatriots, a school reopening date is not supposed to be any of your businesses. It is immaterial. When somebody comes talking about school reopening, just kick him out. Just tell him to go and look for a place and sit down. Just get out of your face, because that is a date. It is not the curriculum. It is not the calendar of activities of the school year. It is not the pedagogic elements. It is not the infrastructural elements. It's not the technical equipment. It is not the content of the textbooks and the other derivatives that are supposed to be used in the school setting. We can't allow a few persons to sell our oil wells, auction our coffee, auction our cocoa, auction our global, auction our resources, and then betray us in all kinds of ways, and then take all the money away, stack it in their houses, and then destroy this whole country, and then we allow them, and then we continuously pretend that we are keeping our children in school for so many years to destroy people's children. We cannot allow that. It will not continue again. And we have said it will not continue. And that is how it will be. And it will be like that. It will not continue. From primary school through secondary to university, each child must answer a very critical question. What can you do? What can you do? If a child cannot answer that question at each stage of the educational ladder, then the child has wasted his time. And we're not going to waste our children's time. A child, like every other child around the world, should be able to come up and develop to the best of his ability and talents, and perform to the best of his ability and talents, to be able to create the best of items that we can also market in the international market space, and earn resources for building the kind of infrastructure that we want and living the kind of life that we want. We will, in a short while, after kicking out these occupiers, build the best country that you want. We will not listen to people who tell us about heaven and then give us hell on earth. It will not work. Heaven begins here, and that is what it's found all over the world. People want the best of conditions for their lives so that they can transition peacefully into heaven after having lived the experience here on earth. You want hell for me on earth, and then by mistake we get into hell after this life? Then why were we born? To live in hell? Come out on Monday and listen to our conversation on the Ambazonian education system. Thank you so much for your kind attention.
Yes, Ambazonian, my motherland, my only land of freedom and peace, a land so accommodating, a land blessed with natural resources. My roots, my nation, till the world hears our cry and intervene, we will speak till our nation becomes a reality. Long live all the Ambazonians. Long live our fallen heroes who gave up their lives to save the future generation of Amazonia. Long live Amazonia. Our hopes are alive. Peace.
We are not giving up. We are not giving up. Amazon.